Hello, everyone. Welcome to the reflection for today, the 30th of June. I'm Robert Titley, the Canon Treasurer here at Salisbury Cathedral, and it's good to be with you. There's some very bright light coming through the window over my right shoulder. I hope that's not disturbing your vision too much. Well, we won. Or if you're one of the 83 million people living in Germany, or one of the 300,000 German citizens who I'm very glad to say are making their home in this country at the moment, you'll be saying they won. Or if you belong to the rest of the human race, you will be saying England won, if indeed you say anything at all. I'm talking about the European Football Championships, and I doubt whether the exploits of Sterling, Kane and Pickford will be on many people's lips today in, say, Miami or Mumbai. And they may not be on your lips either. You might be completely uninterested in football in particular or sport in general. And if so, I'm sorry that this may not initially be the kind of reflection you want to listen to, but stick with it. And if you are at all interested, you will understand that today is a day of English joy and relief. Joy and relief which you yourself might possibly share. Relief because this is the first time that England have beaten Germany, or their predecessors West Germany, in a knockout game since 1966. And the weight of history is something which various people who were commenting before the game started felt might be bearing down on the England team, and indeed on its manager, Gareth Southgate, whose grace and dignity whenever he's interviewed is a real thing to be thankful for. So it was good, if only once, to disprove the famous words of the BBC pundit Gary Lineker: football is a simple game, 22 men chase a ball for 90 minutes and at the end the Germans win. Various members of my clergy colleagues are WhatsApping me with various bits of German to help me with my the broadcast to you all. I'm very grateful, but their messages are actually blocking my phone screen, so I'm going to ask them now to desist. Now, last week, the Church of England media bulletin carried an interview with Matt Baker, the pastoral support director in English football, who is also chaplain of a London club, Charlton Athletic. And the interview with Baker was headlined, "Can we pray to win the Euros?" Matt Baker himself is very clear about his policy. It's a privilege, he says, to pray with a player before a game, but I'm always clear that whilst I want them to win, I am not going to pray for a win. Well, that's praying with another person. What about private prayer when it's just you and God? Well, true prayer has got to be honest prayer. And that means honestly offering your desires to God, whether they're worthy or unworthy. And that would include, I guess, your desire for your team to win, if indeed that is the thing that you want to pray for. But do you really want to pray for them to win at all costs? What about if the other side's better? What about if the winning goal is scored as a result of a foul, let's say, that the referee doesn't spot? As you grow in the life of faith, you do develop a sense of what it's right to pray for and what it is not right to pray for. Now, praying for ourselves, praying for what we want, it's a valid, indeed, it's an important part of prayer, and it's probably something that you either do too much of or too little of. That's my experience myself anyway. I'm still getting well-meaning messages from my colleagues, hence my finger going to my phone and again and again. The danger in praying too little is that the danger is that your prayers just aren't really honest. You wrap your prayers up in a pious eiderdown, which is faintly ridiculous. If God is God, God knows that you have the desires that you have, however much you might try and wrap them up and conceal them. But of course, if you pray for your own wants too much when you pray, the danger here then is that prayer becomes just another branch of consumerism. Indeed, faith becomes another branch of consumerism. It's all about what I want, even though, of course, I might dress that up by talking about my needs. Well, earlier today, I was at a service of thanksgiving for Bishop Nick Holtom, our bishop here in Salisbury, who after a decade of wonderful and very fruitful ministry retires this weekend. And at that service, we heard some words of Archbishop William Temple. Temple wrote, "It is probable that in most of us the spiritual life is impoverished and stunted because we give so little place to gratitude. It is more important to thank God for blessings received than to pray for them beforehand. For that forward-looking prayer, though right as an expression of dependence upon God, is still self-centered in part. There is something we hope to gain by our prayer. But the backward-looking act of thanksgiving is quite free from this. In itself, it is quite selfless." Now, if I read the great Archbishop Temple correctly, that seems to mean that while it was right for me not to pray for England to win before the match, it is right to give thanks now that they have won. And I'm content with that. Now, you may say this is rather an Anglo-centric view. What about if you were shouting at the screen last night, not "Come on England," but "Super Deutschland"? Well, what have you got to be thankful for today? I think you have quite a few reasons to be thankful. You can give thanks that in the 55 years since England last did this to you, you have appeared in 11 major finals, winning 3 World Cups and 3 European Championships, while your neighbours and friendly rivals across the English Channel have managed kinda, none, zilch, nada. And we still have 3 games to go before we can have a chance of changing that. Another sign of growing in the life of faith is that you realise that gratitude is possible even in adversity. Even on a hard day, it's still possible for us to sing, "Now thank we all our God." Although that's originally a German hymn, "Nun danket aller Gott." Thank you, whether you like sport or not, for watching, if indeed you have made it this far. Goodbye.